Last we left off, Ceradyn, having been tasked with seeking out the expositors in the Cobalt Soul of Zadash, experiencing the ritual of descendancy guided by High Archivist Udon. And spending the time in Jorhas alongside Expositor Dern. You return now to the Cobalt Soul in Zadash. Not yet as a full-fledged expositor, but an expositor initiate. It's been explained to you that your job right now is to find corruption to uproot, or to look for something that threatens civilization, stand against, and prove yourself. And it's there that we turn to yourself and Archivist Udon, sitting across a desk from each other in his office. The room is rather simple. The only thing that sets it apart from the rest of the library would be a roosted window open to the outside world. Sits there at the desk writing as you walk in. Ceradyn.
Archivist.
I've received report, but I'd like to hear from you directly. How was your training in Jorhas?
Eventful, to say the least. I learned a great deal from Expositor Dern, and I hope to continue being of use.
For a good 2 or 3 minutes, he just continues writing what he was working on before he finally folds it. He pours a wax seal, stamps it, throws it up into the air, and as he throws it up into the air, it disappears into the air. Ceradyn now as an expositor initiate. You stand on the cusp of really entering into the service of Ioun. You say you want to be of use. But this next stage of your development, your purpose must be your own. You are to be cast out into the world. And you are instructed to have an impact in the name of Ioun.
I have an idea on that front.
Mm-hmm.
Before I came to, before Jorhas, I had helped a group with the City Watch in regards to what turned out to be a traitor amongst the military hire. And their mission seems to fall in line with what could help everyone. I think I'd like to try and find them again.
You speak of the cult of the White Skull?
That is correct.
And you speak of those with which you were partied ahead of the Waltzel.
I know it was very brief, and I was more comfortable with one in particular that left the other group. But I think there is hope in their mission.
Are you chasing hope? Or are you chasing companionship? What is it you seek?
I feel it is to make a difference for the better. However, I do not deny there was a twinge of companionship in our short but brief acquaintance.
As an expositor, your loyalties must lie with Ayun and with the defense of a civilization.
Understood.
I have utmost faith in your discernment as to how you achieve that. And best I can tell, and from reports of your training, and the times before then, within the Rogues Guild, you seem to be a good judge of character.
I hope that continues to be the case.
He goes and he opens up a drawer and pulls out, it's almost like a Rolodex, but it's kind of like just pages on a ring's binder, but it's a very, very thick. And he turns to this specific tab and make a perception check as he does that.
Okay.
Ceradyn's first roll in a long time.
13?
13. It's simple enough to see. It's not being concealed from you. Basically, it's your name on one of the tabs. And what you can vaguely see at 13, you can't see extreme details. It's records of you. It seems you've been on their radar for quite some time. No, let me guess. And he flips one of the pages, flips another. Sachem, the boy from the Brumkiln village. He's not the one of which you speak. Nor Zanesha. They travel with 2 new companions, mind you. And whether or not you've been made aware, Chief is not currently alongside that group. And he kind of, up to you if you're trying to conceal a reaction or anything like that, which I'd say, according to your training, you would want to. So make a deception check.
I would give nothing away, yeah. Seven.
He watches your face as he says, Chief, and far too easy to read, young Ceradyn. But an interesting point of note. We have awareness of Chief. In your training, did Expositor Dern ever discuss the Watchers? And the answer would be no to that.
I can't say as how she did.
It's understandable. They are ancillary to the Cobalt Soul. Also servants of Ioun, in fact. Chief seems to have sought them out with a desire to serve. The Watchers are greatly focused on the direct assistance to those in need, more so than the broader service of civilization. They investigate and they deal justice. But servants of Ioun nonetheless, much like the Hunters Guild in Vasselheim. Just another mechanism to maintain balance. What else would you want to know about Chief? He folds his arms.
Well, would we happen to have knowledge on his whereabouts in that case?
We do, if you wish to soar above the clouds post haste. Is there nothing else you'd wish to know?
Knowing that he is looking into being a more focused approach to service, is there anything pertinent in regards to, I guess, do I need to bring him here, or is that not necessary?
His path and the Watchers do not require it. He would not be shunned by any means as a fellow servant of Ioun. And given what may be transpiring, meeting may be beneficial. There is also a representation of the Cobalt Reserve there at the Temple of Ioun in Rexentrum, where he is leaving, as we speak, to travel northeast to the Dunrock Mountains to seek a material he requires.
I think that may be my best course of action in this scenario. I will... Yeah, it feels right. Of like minds and purpose.
Then let Ioun be your guide. And good luck.
Thank you, Archivist. I shall away.
And as you set off... Oops, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just said I shall away.
Okay. As you set off towards Rexentrum to make your way to the Dunrock Mountains, we will bring Chief in.
Cool.
Your travel goes generally without incident, which for you is normal. It's not too difficult to stay out of trouble when you're 100 feet above it. It's also not difficult to remain hidden the entire way. The cold has been increasing lately, and Ceradyn is actually witness to the elemental comet on your way there.
On my way north?
On your way north.
Okay. I wasn't sure
So
if that happened
by the
while I
time
was in Xhorhas or not.
by the time you move northward, the Ashkeep Mountains and the Ashkeep Garrison are like direct east of you when that happens. So you actually have a pretty good view of the impact in the Ashkeep Mountains.
Gotcha. Okay.
Hello, Tylor. Oh, any questions for Chief before we kick into your part of the session?
There was one question. I forgot to write down the number of the frills that you said I was able to get off of that axolot.
Believe it was 3.
Okay. And I know you said they were 4 foot long. I just forgot to write down.
Yeah, they're like 3.5, 4 feet long and like a foot wide. So
I was just putting them in as custom items inside of my
yeah.
bag of holding. So cool. Well, that was it.
All right. Well, if no other questions, then George, it's up to you how you cut this, but
Last we left off, Ceradyn had his destiny reshaped after the tumultuous events in Comorta, and was tasked with seeking out the expositors of the Cobalt Soul in Zadash. There, Ceradyn underwent the harrowing ritual of descendancy. This ritual unveiled his lineage, stretching back all the way to the fall of Avalere before the Calamity, and his ancestor, Seret Agrupnan. Afterwards, he trained with the expositors, alongside the enigmatic Expositor Dern in the shadowy lands of Xhorhas. He honed his skills. Now he has returned to Zadash, where a new mission awaits. He is to seek out an old acquaintance, the formidable Warforged known as Chief. Meanwhile, Chief, accompanied by his trusty steel defender, Master, had embarked on a perilous quest in the craggy depths of the Dunrock Mountains. In pursuit of the elusive soul crystal material, Chief delved into a glittering crystal cavern. There he battled an elementally charged axolotl, before pressing on to discover a meticulously crafted crystal chamber. It was there the Chief faced the eerie soul-grasp encephalon, a massive blue gelatinous entity that fed upon imprisoned souls. Struck by a pulse of energy, Chief found his soul trapped within the crystal chamber as well. In his crystalline prison, Chief encountered the voices of other trapped souls and experienced visions of a past life. He was revealed to be Illifrid Fizbang, High Arcanist of the Cobalt Reserve. Armed with newfound knowledge, Chief managed to cast a portion of the teleport spell, moving his body within the crystal, shattering it. In a brief but decisive confrontation, Chief drove the soul grasp encephalon back into the depth with a well-aimed firebolt that brought a stalactite crashing down upon it. And finally, as Chief exited the cave, he noticed the small tracks of a familiar and friendly Owlin rogue.
that is where we come to start of the session. Chief, you emerge from the crag and do see the steps of an Owlin there on the ground. Ceradyn, at the same time, taking an aerial sweep around the mountain range. You see him emerging. The green of his armor and that very distinguished form of Master stand in very stark contrast to the white snow.
Trying to be Kronk on theme music.
Seeing him emerge, I want to swoop down to an overhead branch above him.
Okay.
And
Remaining hidden or making yourself known?
upon landing, I would just like to... Ah! There you are.
I'll look up. Oh, hey there, my friend.
It has been a while, has it not?
It definitely has. May have been a longer one, but that's a story for maybe back in town.
Do you mind the company?
I don't mind at all. I have achieved what I've came here for and some, so...
And I'll flutter down to his shoulder and land on it.
Tell me, friend. Do you have in... Are you in need of any of these as I pull out? I know one of them he won't be able... Well, actually, two of them he won't be able to use, but I'll pull out a dagger I got from the guys that jumped me and the commander from way back. It's a +1 dagger.
I go to reach for it for a second, him holding it up. Like,
Yeah.
does it change size?
So magical items changing size is something that takes a bit of time. But generally magic items are very lightly weighted, except when their purpose requires weight. It's an interesting thing, and it's actually, especially Chief, you would know this. Ceradyn, you probably now would have experienced this. The reason that items become baseline magical is there's basically a set of standard enchantments that are done, and there's like a toughness, hardness, there's a corrosion resistance, and there's a weight and size enchantment. That, like, the three of those together kind of become the +1 portion of a magical weapon or magical item.
So I guess reaching out for it is basically Ceradyn getting a gauge for that, and whether or not it'll be useful for him.
Ceradyn, you mean?
Did I? What did I say?
You said Ceradyn.
Ceradyn. Bleh.
That's funny. Anyway, yeah, you can tell, and it has all the magical weapons and armors and stuff. They just have a slight shimmer to them. They're a little cleaner than they should be, kind of thing, regardless of how they've been used. So you kind of know.
That is much appreciated. Thank you.
Yes, I have a couple other weapons too, but they're a little bit bigger at the moment.
Yes, a little much for me, I'm sure.
Alright, so maybe we should just start headed back down the mountain then. I'm headed that way, I believe. If I remember right, coming out of this cave.
And
as he points that way...
Okay, go ahead, sorry.
No, you're good. As he points off that way, Ceradyn, you recall large swaths of flattened trees in that direction on your way in here.
You mean the open area with the flattened trees everywhere?
Yes, in that direction. I just made my way straight through it. Had a little bit of a trouble. I had a little bit of trouble with let's see, an albino hydra is what I ran into. It was interesting to fight,
dear.
but me and Master handled it pretty good.
By yourself?
Oh, I had Master with me.
Well,
but yeah,
the two of you, yes. That's... Bravo.
Yeah, I've even got some of the stuff for the Enchantress I'm actually going to go meet up with in town. She's helping me with a project. Ooh, I can't wait to show you this project.
Let us go.
All right.
As you've taken some time to converse, the light snowfall has begun, and it's not nighttime yet, but it's beginning to be early evening. The sun is beginning to set off to the west, though the horizon is flat for a great distance at this place, so you'll have light well into, 7 or 8 o'clock. But both of you do hear and feel a rush of wind from inside the cave, just kind of a woof. The crag that Chief just exited.
Oh, what were you doing in there?
I was looking for as I'm turning, I still have those glasses on.
You do.
And they look very weird on a robot. But I'll turn with them on looking in. Is anything through those can I see coming out, or is it just a gust of wind?
It's interesting. Make a perception check.
That's a 9.
A 9. You do catch a couple wisps of light kind of coming out of the crag, and then they blend to the sky when they leave.
And as I was turning and talking, I'll reach into the bag. I'll pull out one of the soul stones. I was looking for a couple of these. I managed to find some. They're going to help with this project that I'm making. Been building. I think you're really going to like it.
It's a gorgeous gem.
Yes. I'll explain more when we're down the mountain and safer.
And as you say that, from inside the cave, you can both begin to hear there's just, at first, what sounds kind of like the roiling of water. Another kind of wave of wind exits the cave again, rushing across the both of you.
We should probably get going now.
Perhaps so. What is that?
A blue glow begins to form from inside the crag.
I would like to try to block the entrance.
Okay. How would you be doing that?
Using firebolt to just collapse it, if possible.
Okay. You might be able to do some work. Just as a reminder, this crag that enters into the cave right here is about 60 feet long. Collapse the entirety of this is possible. Is this how you'd want to spend the time you have left?
No, I think we should just start going.
Okay.
If I had a bigger, better explodey spell, maybe, but...
So are the two of you just walking away, running?
I'll look to Ceradyn and just say, hold on tight. And I am going to cast Expeditious Retreat to...
Okay. So you'll be pretty fast.
Quickly.
You'll be basically keeping up with the master.
Wouldn't he fly? I can just jump off and fly.
No, I guess he could just jump and fly. But...
Well, Chief might actually be faster with you with this spell.
I mean,
but...
I'll grasp his shoulder and grab one hand on the side of his robot head.
Yeah, exactly.
This essentially makes my movement speed 60, and I can dash and bonus action dash.
Yeah.
So he's fast. He's running grasping. Like 40 miles an hour, so he's quick. You do The snow, and Master just excited to run alongside you. And it's as you get about 200 feet down the mountain, erupting from the crag, which is still in view when you turn, is the Soul Grasp Encephalon that you spiked back down into the pit. And ringing out into your minds, I will find you.
Yeah, we're gonna have to report that.
Is that another friend of yours, I take it?
That's part of the explanation later.
Yeah.
So this expeditious retreat lasts for 10 minutes.
Yeah, you are like, you're gonna make some ground
Okay.
using this.
Should we be heading towards the village, or should we lead it away somewhere else? Is it following us, actually,
The
Austin?
village
Like-
is, I remember right, the village is like a 2-3 day journey.
So you would remember that there is a smaller city kind of south of you, and if you look at your map, you'll see that. But then there is Rexentrum that was the 2 to 3 day journey off to the east. At this speed, you would make a pretty good distance of that, intentionally running. There'd be some checks to, see how you handle underbrush and stuff like that, but you can make some good distance going 40 miles an hour.
While he's running, I definitely want to be checking to see, like, how it's following us, if it's following us.
Well, what we can do is go over to Roll20 if you'd like.
Oh, okay.
You said the one town was where exactly? Sorry.
So if you kind of make just a triangle between Rexentrum, going slightly northeast to the Dunrock Mountains, and then like a right angle down, then you see, let me pull up my map. Dude.
Oh, my brain can't find Rexentrum.
It's kind of top right middle. Yeah. So
Okay.
Nogvorut would be the one that if you went kind of southwest, you'd probably be able to get to Nogvorut faster than back to Rexentrum, but it's also a different city, so. A great distance behind you, Ceradyn, you do see a monstrosity the likes of which you have never seen before. It is a faintly glowing blue, massive gelatinous creature, 50, 60 feet in diameter, with tendrils that are reaching out and pulling on everything it can get a hold of to move. It's not quick. It's, in fact, rather slow, but it is moving.
Perhaps an explanation now rather than later might be more helpful.
You're good.
Sorry, you just said
it. Yeah, you're good.
Gotta get into the Roll 20.
Well, you know that stone I showed you, the purple one?
Yes.
That's what's called a soul stone. And it's how Master is able to be how he is. And I'm using some to build some other companions that can help pull a safety cart for us at some point. And that thing that just popped out has the ability to put your soul into one. And I was able to escape. What I did find, would I remember everything that went on when I was
Very much so.
Okay.
It seems that your mind is shored up by your patron.
On one side of things, I was stuck, very dire, very, very stuck. But I was able to figure out who I actually am in this situation.
And as this
But-
conversation is passing, you are gapping this thing by a mile at this point.
Okay.
Real quick, which way does it look to be heading, Ceradyn?
It looks to be heading towards you.
We may have better chance of defeating it with more people helping us out. So I would think heading back to Rexington would be the better option. This thing, I dropped a spike on it, and it's still left. But anyway, I was able to learn from my past and was able to teleport my body into the crystal, shatter it, and re-enter my body. And now it's mad that I broke its playthings, I guess.
Well, you've
I thought I
had
killed
an
it,
exciting
but-
time as well.
Yeah, you'll have to tell me your adventure. First things first, we should probably get back up. With how fast it's moving, it's probably going to take longer to get to us than we are to get to there.
All right.
And you do, for the next 10 minutes, move at a very, very high pace. And Ceradyn, you have the thought, maybe it's not necessary that I'm riding, but it's like, you likely would have started to fall behind at this pace. You can see magic coursing through Chief's legs. And every time he presses against the ground, there's a little bit of just a light ethereal magic propelling him off of the ground with each step.
I'm sort of picturing from My Hero Academia the jet-legged boot dude.
Very much like that. Yeah. Eventually, about 6 or 7 minutes in, you lose sight of the creature. But you get the sense that it's, to the best of its ability, going to follow as it said it was going to. But your spell finally ends. Still a couple hours of daylight left. What will you guys be doing?
Think we're good to take it at a normal pace now.
You think perhaps we change direction, see if it continues to follow us. I don't know how, but perhaps we can lose it.
So, in that case, I have a question.
Okay.
We bolted down. I was going to try to make this kind of a straight line to direction trim as I could.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know how far through the forest that I was able to get to with this run.
I mean, moving at that pace, where you kind of left in a morning, and then on the third day's the third day's morning arrived, you've basically cut 5 or 6 hours off of that, moving at the pace you did for as long as you did. Because your initial trek out here, I mean, it was stomping through underbrush. It was not rapid, but taking slightly more risks with expeditious retreat, you covered a great deal of distance.
In that case, to the left or right of us, because I know I'm headed towards Rexing Trim, is there any elevation to the left or right of us, like a within a couple hour walk? So we can get like a high
Oh.
ground view.
Here, as the Dunrock Mountains come to their base, there's a little bit of a depression, a large depression that you're in now, and then everything kind of comes back up slowly, but it's not hills and mountains. It's more just like a general rise to the elevation, basically in every direction from you. You're kind of at the low point of the Pearlbow Wilderness. And it is actually, at this point, Ceradyn, your first time seeing this. From further in the northeast, which you would know to be the Savalier Wood, there are pulses of pearlescent light in the sky, they just wave across the sky, casting a dim light over everything in the Pearlbow.
I think he would just take it in, not say anything in particular about it, but definitely keep it noted.
But if your intention, Chief, is to move up elevation and be able to look back, yeah, you would be able to do that.
I want to take the rest of the daylight we have to go one side or the other, and just get up high ground so we can see.
So kind of breaking your straight line, trying to get elevation to be able to look back.
Yeah, and
it's easy enough to do. Yeah, it's easy enough to do. And by the time you're basically at the top of the hill, it gives you not an unobstructed view, but a pretty decent look over the entire path you just took. Maybe if you're kind of up in a tree a little bit. The sun is setting. But again, there is a persistent dim light in this region.
Well, I'll set up a campfire, and I guess we'll just keep watch for a while to see if it comes towards us. What do you think?
I'm gonna do what I can to cover the tracks we have for a little bit, and I'm gonna go to try to break off a small branch so I can try and.
Yeah, it's relatively dense underbrush in this portion. Granted, it's winter, so a lot of it is dead. Clearing tracks might be a little bit difficult given the scale of path the Chief leaves. Go ahead and make a survival check.
Oh gosh, I didn't think about that. Crap.
As he's doing that, I actually want to dig a hole in the ground about 3 feet deep.
3 feet, okay.
And put the fire down in there.
Okay, kind of cutting the line of sight to it a bit.
Yeah.
Easy enough to do. With an 11, yeah, Ceradyn, you quickly realize,
I'm too small for
this is not going to work. There are medium trees that have just, in a line, right? It's it would take a lot. It would take multiple illusions and a great deal of time to conceal those tracks.
Yep, never mind. I was not paying attention, I guess.
When he comes back, I want to be in. As he comes back, I want to still have the glasses on, but look at the different stones, the soul stones that I gathered.
Okay. Just go ahead and roll an investigation check. Your favorite.
Yay! 22.
Ooh, not bad. All of them except for the one are empty. And there is something in the one. It's hard to discern detail as you've come to learn by the nature of what it is. There is not form to it necessarily.
Is that the bigger one that has something in it?
It is. But with that investigation check, you do realize that the characteristics of this crystal specifically are of even higher quality. then what you were instructed would be sufficient. Where you were instructed that the haloing effect or the aura effect of the blue around the deep purple would need to be at least a half an inch. This larger crystal, it's about an inch deep. It's pretty substantial.
Oh, with that, I'll just put them back in the bag of holding and along with the glasses.
And Ceradyn, you would see this inspection taking place.
Does that one hold special significance?
Well, in the first three, about the same size. From what I can tell, there's nothing in them, so they're vacant. Where, like, I'll call Master over and open up his head and say, if you see in here, you can... I'll hand him my glasses before I put them away.
I
Here,
hop
these
on to Master's head that is open, like
Yeah.
perching on it, and
Mhm.
take the glasses.
And the glasses are like this to you, Ceradyn. So
Like-
you're kind of putting one
like-
lens
like
in front of
one
your
lens.
face.
I'll just hold it in front of his head. But you see...
Looking through these, Ceradyn, most everything looks the same, except that within the crystal, looking through it versus not, there's just an ethereal mist-like form inside. And for Master, it just vaguely resembles a hound.
White.
Now, if you look at this one, I'll hold the bigger one up.
Okay.
There's
Looking
something...
at that one. Looking at that one, Ceradyn, if you'd like, you can make an investigation check. And you get the sensation to take this very seriously.
12. Oh. These, looking at Chief, are these souls?
Based on my studies and what I know of the soul stones, yes. The other three smaller ones don't have any in them, as I'm putting the rocks away now.
And handing the glasses back.
Here you go. Okay.
I take it they no longer have forms to return to.
I am going to assume that's a safe bet. They were in a
Imagine so.
cave that there were many souls trapped in different crystals of the same sort. By that beast, I'll look the direction where I think.
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check.
Ah, so
16.
Okay. Off in the distance, not very far even from the base of the mountain, there is a very faint blue glow slowly creeping through the forest.
you took this thing's treasure and that's why it's after us. Okay. Now I understand.
He tried to keep me hostage, so...
Yes, he tried to make you like this, correct? Is that what you're implying?
Yes, that's what I believe.
Ah.
But like I said, he did give me some... Well, he did manage to make it so I got some insight on my past. Showed me images of who I was before I was chief. Not sure how long ago this was, but apparently now I am very trusting of Ceradyn because he deemed me worthy to sit on, basically. And let's say my I used to be a gnome of all things. And I guess my name was Illifred Fizbang.
And right there, Ceradyn, there's a triggered thought. You know, all of this is so eerily similar to the ritual of descendancy. The two visions you had, learning of your past, learning of your ancestry, learning of yourself. Chief has experienced almost the exact same thing. But specifically when he says Illifred Fizbang, in Zadash, plaque that you've walked by, with a small statue of a gnome, High Arcanist Illifred Fizbang.
It seems like I was some part of this group called as I'm just still rambling on, and as he's thinking this through.
I get a
Cobalt.
visible like feather shudder. I know I'm like not supposed to do this because of my training, but like there's a little.
And not only was I part of this group, I guess I was one of the ones that were like in charge, a high arcanist or something. Didn't get much from the thing. I just got to talk with my daughter again, learned who I was, and was able to figure out how to get out of the crystal thanks to that vision. Thanks to the help from Owlin. So
Seems we have had a similar path. I too have seen a past life of my ancestry. Not myself. There was myself later. But at first it was not me. It was a far, far ancestor.
interesting. I feel comfortable sharing this with you right now, but the others, when we meet up, I would humbly request not to tell them right away yet.
I feel the same. In fact, I don't even know if I was supposed to tell you that.
Well, I can confidently say your secret's safe with me.
And yours with me.
Now then, are you hungry? I don't have much on me, but I can see if I have some rations, or maybe find a squirrel.
I think Ceradyn would just be like, I'm fine at the moment. Thank you, though.
If you want to get some rest, I'll take first watch, and I'll wake you if we need to hustle again.
Yes. Definitely let me know if Big Blue arrives.
Will do for the Big Blue.
And as the night surely falls on the Pearlblow Forest and the pearlescent glow from the sky mingles with the nightscape and stars, Ceradyn, you lay your head down, perched on a tree. Chief, make a perception check for your watch.
16 again.
It's a trivial task to maintain accountability of where the creeping blue glow is. And it appears to be moving in the direction you were first moving, which is a direct line to Rexentrum. It does not seem to have corrected course to your actual position. And you can take that for whatever you will.
But it's still it's not to where we turned off, right? Yet it's still on its way to that line.
Make an intelligence check. Or survival.
Okay, give me.
Trying to pull some trigonometry.
I'll roll an intelligence one.
Okay.
No.
You know, it's hard to say. It's not dark by any means, but the white snowscape and then the white-ish light, everything's kind of washed together. It's easy to track the creature itself, but to say I crossed that, landmark and went here, that just isn't going to happen in this scene.
And then I have one more thing I want to do, but it all depends on you. My ring of sending.
I'd say it's ready by now.
Yeah, I was going to ask if it's ready by now. I would like to send a message to one of the watchers that I have become close with during the training.
Okay.
And just notify them of, what was it called? The cephalum, or
it was a soul grasp encephalon.
So,
and I'd say that the watcher you'd likely send a message to is probably Ungrelok. As a dragonborn you did some direct training with.
Ungrelok?
Ungrelok, yep.
Okay. I'll hold it up and just kind of tap it to activate it and go, Ungrelok, I seem to have made an encounter with a soul grasp encephalon that may be headed towards Rexingtrum. Thought I would give you an update. And if there's any more words after that, heading back.
Basically, you have like two.
Headed back.
Oh, headed back.
Yeah.
Okay. So this time of night, early night, yeah, that'd be fine. There's a decent pause before a response. And he just says, "Oh, Chief. Wish I could say I knew what the hell that was. I'll look into it ahead of you arriving. We'll keep an eye out. Knowing Mistress be with you."
And with that, whenever it's time to switch, I'll kind of nudge Ceradyn. Ceradyn, your turn.
You're poked awake.
before he even touches my feather more than like a light, just like that's what I respond. I'm like, yes, thank you.
It seems to still be heading towards the direction we were initially heading, not veering off this way. But I'm not sure how far along it is. I couldn't really tell from this distance how much distance it's covered. Just thought I'd let you know. And from there, I'll just go sit next to the fire pit, and say, "Wake me if you need me."
All right.
And just kind of pew.
I want to check.
Ceradyn, your watch begins.
Yeah, I want to check by flying up into the air to get a better view of things. I know we're already high, but...
Yeah, so flying up into the air and looking for a glowing blue ball at night, go ahead and roll a perception check with advantage.
Okay. Perception. Advantage. 26.
26. Yeah, I mean, it's out there. It still hasn't covered a lot of distance from the base of the mountain. given the pace you guys were moving, and then continuing to move all the way till nightfall, it has probably covered a tenth of that distance in total. It's not fast. You can't directly see details about it. You could just see the faint blue glow being cast into the forest.
Would I be able to tell whether or not it got up to a point where we turned off?
Again, just make either an intelligence or survival check. This not at advantage just because it's a difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's really only because there's a lack of landmarks.
Yeah.
You know, you guys entered this depression at the base of the mountain that extended for a couple of miles and then turned to gain elevation from there. There's not a lot to look at. It's not like that tree's where we turned, this tree that's 600 feet tall, or there's a big rock sticking out of the forest. There's just nothing like that.
Yeah.
There are some swaths that have been laid flat by the Hydra, but not quite able to discern that.
Had it gotten to that portion that we had passed, the flat swath with the Hydra had flattened things out.
So those marks are essentially switchback from the base of the mountain, almost where you guys came from, but more northward than that, and sweep across almost the entire forest, back and forth, probably halfway to Rexentrum.
Yeah, and
that thing was working on that for a long time.
Yeah, I guess my question was, had the Cephalon made it to any of that point yet?
Yes, because those features of the forest are like immediately upon entering the forest.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But they're perpendicular to the path that you and the Encephalon are taking.
All right. I'll probably see if I can perch on a high up tree, just so I can keep an eye out on it while also keeping an eye above the camp.
Okay, just go ahead and roll your perception check for your watch.
Okay. It's 15.
15. Okay. Keeping watch, there's not a lot of activity. And you know, it's an interesting region. Not only has it been scoured by a Hydra for who knows how long, driving away a lot of wildlife, especially anything large enough to be prey for a Hydra, which could be pretty much anything. There is also a lack of the conditions for nocturnal creatures here, as night does not truly fall in this forest. And your watch goes by without incident.
Okay.
At this point, if you would both like to get a long rest, there's going to have to be another cycle of watches between the two of you, or involving Master.
Well, Master can be up all night with both of us anyway as we switch off. So.
Yes.
But I'm okay with taking another watch or two. So.
Okay.
And I'm fine with keeping an eye on the creature as well, from where we are, just to see its progress. So I don't mind another watch as well.
Okay, so trading off with Chief again.
I would probably.
To not sleep proper 8-ish, 7-ish hours tonight would incur a point of exhaustion. And you've essentially only slept 4 at this point.
Yeah, I'd switch off with him.
Okay. So Chief, go ahead and make another perception check for your second watch. Now, here in the dead of winter, the nights are long. And it is still night by the end of your watch, for which, again, nothing has happened. As the creature moves deeper into the depression, you lose it a couple of times, but do get it back. Again, it is not difficult to keep track of, given its nature. And it still has not covered a great distance. It has moved basically into the bottom of the depression, which you recall is about the time that the two of you turn. But you realize that like right at the end of your watch.
I'll wake Ceradyn again and give him that little bit of information and power down and say, Master, help him out.
Just that it had reached that point-ish?
Yes. It's reached the bottom of the depression.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Yeah. Which, granted, this is a 15-mile long depression, right? So it's substantial.
Okay. Do I just
Ceradyn, in the beginning of your watch, at this point, you are fully rested. And if you have not yet, which I imagine you have, make sure you mark long rest.
I'll do it just in case.
Never know what's been used.
Yep. Okay. It has been a while. All right. So perception for the watch?
Yes. And if there's anything specific you want to be looking for.
I think I'm just wanting to keep an eye on whether or not it is visibly heading in our direction or towards Rex and Trim.
Okay.
So 23.
Ooh, a 23. Okay. Again, going up into the air. It does reach a point where you believe it's likely you guys turned. And it waits there for close to 45 minutes. And it turns and begins to move towards you. But the rest of your watch, aside from it encroaching very slowly, does go by without incident. And the sun rises in the east over the Dunrock Mountains. And just as beautiful as the nightfall of the pearl bow and the light that is cast down into the forest, as the sun and the morning reddish hues cast through the ethereal waves in the sky, it is again an utterly magnificent sight.
Oh, okay. I think I would wait for it to be morning, and then rousing Chief. So, I'm not sure how, but it's definitely following us. It's heading our direction.
Well, maybe when it trapped me, it got a taste for my essence.
Well, you also hightailed it through everything in the snow. I'm sure it's not that hard to follow a trail. I don't know what kind of sensories it has, but
I didn't look very much, but I don't think I saw eyes, but I could be very wrong. It's kind of big.
maybe we should look for... Maybe we should set a trap.
That might be a good idea. Looking up behind, is the slope still going up and we just kind of found a flat spot, or are we like on top of?
No, you're pretty much on the top of it, and the rest of the landscape through the Pearl Bowl Wilderness There are some slight rises and falls, but for the most part, it's relatively flat.
Okay, and then what about the coverage of snow? In terms of like, is it like pretty deep? There's a lot of it, or
No, it's there was a light snowfall last night, and when you stepped in the cave, it was almost melted. Like it was kind of at that slushy stage, a lot of the snow. So there's a thin blanket across everything.
so that idea won't work. What do you have in mind, Ceradyn?
Well, you said you dropped a stalactite on it. Maybe we can find a big boulder. We are on top of a hill.
That is true.
I'm gonna fly up and just look around the general area around us, see if there's any large boulders or anything that we could work at, or
Okay.
perhaps even logs that maybe Chief could place up and things, because I'm not going to be helped much strength-wise, but...
Right. So go ahead and just make a survival or perception check.
While he's doing that, I'd just like to maybe chop some trees down around me.
I got it.
Okay.
Well,
Easy enough for you to do. 12. You do find something, Ceradyn. There are kind of a set of ruins a little further to the north of you, but a little bit further west as well.
fly back down to Chief then, and well, not so much as in any natural ways to help us trap this creature, but perhaps there is a building, seems like a structure of some sort, north of us.
Think that would help?
May be able to funnel it, perhaps.
All right, maybe we can make use of it.
There's not much
Chop
here to
some
work
trees
with,
down.
honestly. I mean, yes, you've done some work. Wow.
Yeah,
I'll bring-
he will have knocked down 2 or 3 trees in that time.
I'd like to cut them up so they're easier to carry. Like, make it like a good long, like a 12-foot length, if they're that big. And I want to bring them up with us to this spot. Thank you, babe.
Okay, so you guys will be moving towards the ruins and looking to set something up there.
Yeah, I think so.
Seems the safer bet for anybody farther down. And Chief's all for that.
All right, if you guys take a look at Roll20, you have the ruins in front of you. What you do see is a very dilapidated ruin. It looks like it may have been a keep of some kind of forest outpost. A very crumbled rampart on one side, a rather deep ravine that settles into entering the main stronghold area, but the gate seems to be missing almost entirely. Walls that encircle.
Well, this is promising, but we have to make sure that we don't trap ourselves in here.
Is this a hole right here, like an indent, and like there's like wall going around it?
Yes. So that is negative elevation. And then this would be like dense forest. So everything is passable. It should, it'd take a lot of work. And the creature would be approaching from your southish east, but mostly east. So it'd be, if it's coming straight towards you, He'd be coming from basically this side.
How tall are these larger trees here? Like, are they going to be big enough to
60 to 70 feet tall.
Okay, so those would be... Okay. Well, we've got some good trees here. If, I mean, do you have any rope?
I imagine.
Maybe.
Unless you've used it and not replaced it.
I don't have any rope in my stuff.
Okay.
I have thieves' tools. Maybe there's some rope in there.
So what are you thinking with these trees?
Possibly.
Well,
gesturing to the ones you're dragging.
Yeah. How deep is the hole right here?
So the ravine
Yeah.
is about 35 feet deep. It is the same height as the rampart stands over the rest of the landscape. So you have lowest level is about, we'll say that's 0. Go up about 30 feet. That would be the top of the building and the ridge line. And then up another 30 feet would be the top of these crumbled ramparts. So total from a rampart all the way down is like 70 feet.
Thinking of maybe sharpening one end of these logs, maybe some more. And maybe we can use that ravine to our advantage. And I can set them up to where I can blast them down into it if we can get Big Blue down in there.
Try to drop him on a giant spike trap. Okay.
More like get him in there and drive spikes into him. Into it. Well, so like, I'll point out over there on this part of the ridge. If he's coming from behind us over here, we can set him up there. I can get a couple more even, sharpen them, angle them down in. If we can get him in there, I may have a spell that can launch him.
I'm not going to be much use on the strength aspect, but perhaps
you can
if it's... Yeah, perhaps I can lure the creature.
Let's see what these buildings have for us.
Yeah, I want to start flying around, looking at things.
Okay. What would you be looking for?
I was going to say, while he's doing that, I'll go set up the spikes to shoot.
Yeah, so
okay, just make a survival check.
So in this instance, because a lot of strength is required, Ceradyn's going to be looking for ways to be helpful that that he is more apt with, because like the bait aspect is something he can't utilize until it gets here. So I want to be looking in the building for things like tapestries that could be used as rope, stuff like that. Anything useful in that regard for Chief. Yeah,
just make an investigation check. And you'd be going into the building as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Investigation. 20? Dirty 20.
Okay. As you move through, much of everything in here has long rotted. It seems that this has been abandoned for decades. And judging by the crumbling of the walls, that's corroborated. In this investigation, you do find some materials. You find a crate that is probably one more summer away from collapsing, and in it is a length of 100 feet of rope. But throughout the rest of this investigation, which takes the better part of an hour, as you have to go get Chief to pick up the rope, take it where he wants it,
Exactly.
and then go back to investigating. This was some kind of forest watch post, some kind of military installation, and the destruction to its gate and its walls was from within.
Oh.
That's what you can tell with a 20.
You know, getting back to Chief. This place is interesting.
What do you mean?
Look over there, and I start pointing at things. These areas were damaged from within the structure, and this had to have been a watch of some sort. Now, I know we're worried about a danger coming here from the outside, but could there possibly be something within as well?
Something helpful or something dangerous?
Either.
Chief's gonna reach into the bag of holding and pull out that spyglass.
Okay. What are you doing with it?
I want to.
I don't like that smile, Austin.
I'm gonna assume, since he had me take the rope back and forth, and I'm assuming we're over here at the moment.
I mean, you guys could make your way whatever direction you'd please. If that's where you'd like to be, that's fine.
Yeah, if you're doing setup and stuff, I guess we can.
Yeah, I was just assuming while he was flying around and looking at things, I'd be setting up and blah blah.
Yeah, you had said that was the case.
I want to look through that spyglass across the area, and based on the experience that I had back at the mountain after I found it, I would like to see what it sees.
Okay. Looking through it. At first, again, it is jarring, as there are two simultaneous images. Make a perception check.
Natural 1 for 4.
So it's not that you failed to look through it.
Yeah.
What you do see... Oh, there's something I have to roll here.
Nat ones will do that.
Yeah.
So will nat 20s, though.
I should have just passed it off to Ceradyn.
Oh, where's the D10? Where's the 10? Wow, what a... Wish I could have that roll every time I tried Divine Intervention.
Can I give him the help action, being like, "What is it?" And like,
or no, cutting it close, giving a.
No, it's fine.
Okay, no, yeah, you can't. So either that or Ceradyn, you could also give it a shot looking through it. So it's either Chief getting advantage or Ceradyn rolling straight.
I think actually Ceradyn would be like, what is that? What are you doing?
Come take a look. I'll hold it up to my shoulder. You said it was a small thing, but I'm not sure if it's...
Yeah, it's only about 4 inches long.
Okay, I'll hand it down to him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or hand it to him.
Oh, that's...
And it's sized in a way that you can use it, Ceradyn.
Okay.
Yep, go ahead and roll a perception check. You roll a 1, I swear to God. Rocks fall, everyone dies.
Did you roll a natural 1?
I rolled a nat 1. It almost stopped on a 19, and it just barely ever, like, slow motion over to the 1.
That's what happened to me, too.
So, again, it's not that you fail to look through a spyglass.
I just don't know what this thing is. So
It's an interesting device, Cyrano. You look through it, and there are two
Ceradyn.
images.
You did it.
Sorry,
too.
Ceradyn. Yeah. Except you said Cerat.
Yeah, which is way worse.
At an angle. So it kind of cuts your eyes in two, but not like straight down the middle, which is kind of worse. One image is what you already see. It is this winter-coated, dilapidated fort. The other is summertime. Fort's still destroyed. But a bird flies across. You see a squirrel in a tree.
Does this see different time? Is this the same place in a different time?
I'm not sure if it's time. I think it's more of a different instance. I don't know. I haven't looked too far into it yet. And hearing the spike logs at this point angled to where I could do what I'm hoping will work. Like, show me these spots on the buildings that you're more worried about, more up close. And I'll just, as we're walking, I'll slide the thing back in my bag just to keep it safe.
Okay.
And I imagine the inner destruction is more along like these areas. It looks like showing that it's going outward.
Yeah, so as you all move along, and Master trudging along as well, there comes a point as you're pointing out this destruction, and the rubble is like it's not like there was a siege and it was blasted in. Instead, the wall collapses out and the rubble is piled forward, which is strange. Moving through.
Can I fly up and look down to see like where it comes from?
Yes.
As he's flying up, I'd like to inspect some of the rubble that blew outward just to see what colorization there is.
Okay, so both of you make an investigation check.
Cool.
25.
And a 12.
12. So, starting with you, Chief. The surface of a lot of this rubble, you would expect something that's been dilapidated like this over the course of decades to have weathered all evidence of whatever happened away. But instead, what you see is a glassed surface where the stone has been melted. And that makes it quite resilient to weathering.
Would
Cyrano's.
I...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, would I know what would be able to cause this type of effect on the rock?
At that investigation check, and with your like passive intelligence, really it's just extreme heat. There's a lot of possible sources for that. But Ceradyn, from up high, and after being the one to determine this in the first place, you see it. That from the tower, and you realize it was once a tower, outward. There was another level to this building.
And this one?
And it was obliterated. Casting, after communicating with Chief, molten stone outward, blasting the ramparts.
Military experiment gone wrong, perhaps?
Did you come back down after seeing that and say that?
Yeah,
or?
yeah.
Because I was planning on going in to look at some stuff too. So
I'd come down to meet
So
you.
you could have kind of caught up to him, and you'd be going in
Yeah.
at the same time. And Ceradyn, you'd be able to show him around a little bit, be like, "Yeah, this is where I found the rope." And
after him saying military mishap or something, I want to see if there's any type of desk or anything like that in the area. See if there's possibly something that may have survived.
okay, also just make an investigation check. I'd say at advantage because Ceradyn would be helping you with this.
Advantage with a +10? Sure.
I know.
It's a 27.
So you spend the better part of an hour, again, continuing to search. Ceradyn showing him all of the things that you had already searched. And he had, he had to come in here to open the crate to get the rope. So he's been inside as well. Something about the kind of like a wall layout of this level kind of starts to not make sense. Because you go around the perimeter of this, and this building, 60 feet wide on a side. It's not huge. But it's like the center isn't accessible. And on a 27, there is a loose brick at one point.
Ceradyn, stand back for a second.
Sure.
I'm going to reach out, and whether it's a pull or push, I'm going to do whichever one.
So you reach out, and it does. First, nothing.
I'll push a little harder, see if it goes any deeper.
And does seem it was a little bit jammed. Clunk. There's just this kind of metallic clang. And then you just hear this low rumble of stone grinding.
I'm going to look around. In the room, is there an opening?
As you traverse, there is a doorway leading into the center section.
This seems promising.
Well,
I'll light my torch thumb and go in.
As light casts, there is a spiral staircase. Goes down. And up, though up comes to a rubble collapsed end quite quickly.
I think it's safe to say it can't follow us in here. Can
It
it?
seemed a little bit gelatinous to me, but it's kind of tight. You might be right.
Oh dear.
Wonder how much time we have till it gets here.
Well, then we'll be swift and I'll fly.
I'll just
Okay.
make my way down.
Making your way down, it spirals down. It doesn't go too far. It's basically just goes below the lower ground level.
Oh.
So it's missing the upper level, right? You enter at ground level and go below ground level 1 story.
Okay.
And in front of you is a door of quite fine make. The stone all around you still seems to be in good condition as it's been sealed away. There are webs and spiders, of course, some water infiltration, mosses and molds. But this door remains pristine. Not extravagant in its design, but finely made.
Interesting.
Before we start messing with the lock, let me take a look at it. And I'm going to look at it, but with the glasses.
Okay. Putting the glasses on. There doesn't seem to be anything ethereal or spiritual going on.
Can you tell if
Alright.
it's magical with those glasses?
They're kind of new to me, and so far it's just been like spiritual type stuff, or like, what'd you say was like kind of like that one shield stuff was like an anti-magic barrier or whatever.
Yes.
So I figure maybe I can see other things, but I still have much to learn about them, I think, and I'll put them away. I'm not very good at unlocking things, but I could try to open it.
Well,
Or try to
first, just
unlock
see
it.
if it's open.
That's what I was going to say. I could try to open it first,
Yeah.
or we try to unlock.
I want to do a quick inspection real quick to see if there's any traps on this door.
Okay, just roll an
It's
investigation check.
in a military compound, so yeah. Investigation.
I'd like to help them real quick.
Okay, yeah, I'd say you could do that. So roll with advantage,
Okay, I'll just roll it again.
or each individually.
Nat 20.
Okay. You're very experienced in the first place with detecting traps in general. Even more so and more specialized now as an expositor initiate. It's difficult to see, and without a natural 20, you wouldn't have caught this. But the 1/8 of an inch gap around the door, there are runes on the other, like the edge face of the door, all the way around.
On the door.
It-
The edges of the door.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So it's in the gap, which is why without a natural 20, you would not have seen it.
Ah.
So it is, in fact, enchanted. Now, without being an enchanter, you do not have the ability to determine the effect of this enchantment.
I can just
It's
tell
not
that it's
something you can
there,
discern.
'cause there's yeah.
You know that this door is enchanted. Whether
Well-
that's strengthening, alarm, trap, you don't know.
So this door
But there
is,
are no physical traps.
this door is most definitely enchanted of some kind. And very well hidden. I don't know what kind it is, but
Oh, can you point a couple of the what you see out to me? Maybe I can make heads or tails of it.
I'll try to show him.
Yeah, and with it being
Organizing.
pointed out,
Yeah.
it is possible. Chief, you could just go ahead and make a straight investigation check. Understand the DC of this is high. Or Arcana.
I do have a question, though.
Mm-hmm.
Is it runes from any of the languages I know? Which would be no mission.
So this check would be to see if you could even discern that at all. at the angle and the gap that you're dealing with.
Oh, with it. Oh, you said investigation or Arcana?
Yes, they have different DCs.
I feel, since he's pointing, I feel I would do Arcana.
Okay.
$15.
It's common runes. They're not some mysterious language. Piecing together what's going on here, you're pretty confident it's not meant to be a trap to like kill whoever tries to open the door. It's sending something. It's sending something right now, actively, constantly.
Well, from what I understand, we should be safe, but it's relaying messages to someone anyway.
Relaying messages.
Yeah, these runes that you pointed out are a means of security, I guess you could say.
But you said sending, like actively.
Like if you trip over a wire with bells, it rings.
Yes, yes, I understand that, but
Oh
it's
yes,
doing it now, like continuously.
based on what I understand here, yes.
That is peculiar. This place has been abandoned for at least a
while.
decade.
Multiple decades, you would have been able to discern.
Well, what do you think? Should I
Well,
try to
I
open
mean,
it?
this does seem like a military outpost, or at least the remnants of one. Perhaps we should check with someone at Rexitrim before we try to delve in deeper to this. I mean, if not, we can try. I don't.
That is true, but
We
the thing,
definitely got Big Blue coming.
I was going to say, whatever might be behind this door could help us with
That's
the
another
situation.
fair and valid point.
I
Well-
say we look, and I'll just say it was part of my mission.
Regardless, I'm not going to be much help in getting the door open.
Unless you
So-
can pick a lock easily. I'll just reach up, turn the handle, and if it turns and pushes, I'll open it.
The handle does turn, and as it opens, it does swing. Nothing happens. Except, given that both of your attention are drawn to the runes, they go dark. Whatever was being sent is no longer being sent.
If anybody was watching anything from this, they know something happened.
They certainly do.
I'll step in with my torch thumb.
Stepping in, there is some sort of mechanism in this room. In the four corners of it, there are these cylinders of green glass that reach up and then converge to a single point in the ceiling with some kind of runic or magic circle engraved in the middle of the room.
I would like to inspect the contraption before even going within the center of the room.
Okay. Stepping in and at least to the edge, looking around, there is a deep and intricate connection between these green, very, very pure green glass. It kind of spreads and then infiltrates into runes and structures of the circle. There in the center of the circle is just a small, it's not like a raised dais with an orb on it. It's like the orb is kind of like set into the ground and only like the top third of it is raised up out of the circle. Also of vibrant green glass.
Well, Ceradyn, what do you think this is?
Peering in from outside of the door because he's still wary of the magic. I have no earthly idea.
Chief, make an Arcana check.
And I'll start just
19.
visually looking around the room to see if there's anything useful to our current situation.
Yeah, you could make an investigation check, Ceradyn. At a 19. There's something about this green glass. But it kind of eludes you. There's something about green glass. Maybe it's like it comes from another continent. It's exceptionally difficult to make. The specifics just barely elude you. And Ceradyn, you're more caught off guard by just the nature of all of this that you're like, I don't even know what I'm looking for in this room.
Yep. I figured as much, because not a magic thing in any way, shape, or form. Just
Chief, being curious, he wants to put something within the circle without getting in there himself.
Okay.
So the padded light armor that he took from those bandits, he's going to take it out of the bag and toss it into the center of it. Just to see if thing activates.
Yeah, it's sitting there.
What do you think it is?
Well, you see these glass canisters.
To be clear, they're not exactly canisters. They're like
tubing.
Yeah, kind of like tubing.
Yes.
Can't quite remember what they are, but I remember them being something similar to being very hard to make from somewhere else.
Ceradyn, just make a history check.
Okay.
And with these runes on the floor, I was just seeing if something would activate it as it went through.
An 11.
You know, it kind of, you get the inkling of a thought as well, Ceradyn, that like green glass magic, there's something there, but it just doesn't quite come to you.
Is there any desks in this room?
There is not. The room is simply this circle encapsulated by the walls and these glass structures up to a point in the ceiling. That is the entirety of this room. Plus a small entryway that allows the swing of the door to not intersect the circle. But that's it.
Of those metal bits that I got from the shields and whatnot, the armor from that group that I found the spyglass at, I want to grab one of the many small bits and throw it in, see if it's different, if there's a reaction to metal versus leather.
Okay, they would have been steel.
Yeah, just
toss it. You toss in a piece and it ding ding bounces off.
I'd love to explore this more, but I think we should wait till we deal with the big blue.
Fair enough.
I'm going to leave those things in the circle just because I don't want to go into it.
All of this is a little bit over my head. I'll turn around to go back up.
I will keep a thought on where the brick was that I pushed, just in case it closes when we leave.
Okay. When you do go up the stairs, it looks like perhaps it tried to close, but the door structure that had moved off to the side has now kind of collapsed. The door is permanently open now.
Well, thank goodness we did not get trapped.
True. Let's go finish setting up what we can and see where this big boy is.
As you say that, go ahead.
I guess coming out the building, my intention is going to be to fly up this direction to go up and see if I can see it in the distance.
And I'd be heading towards where I have the wood logs.
Yeah.
As you fly, Ceradyn, you hear in your head, "Yes, you are. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Okay.
2 natural ones.
What was with that? Oh my gosh! When you
And
said,
I called it too. I called it.
Yeah.
well, the worst part is you said if you get 2 natural ones, rocks fall and you die, and I was like, as it rolled.
Rocks fall, everyone dies.
Even the big blue.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.